So now we are at the very last part of this top 7 listomathon, and after that theory display we saw last time, I think we need to cool off with my personal top 6 water type starter Pokemon. 7? Since when is there 7 water type starter Pokemon? Poplio? Never heard about it. What does it look like? Yeah, get your Fakemon out of my list. Not going to happen, pal. This is licensed by Game Freak and is indeed the next water type starter Pokemon. Oh god. Okay, jokes aside, I really don't like this new Pokemon at all. It's not a bad idea and the design is not horrendous. It just feels like it was some 10-year-old who drew a Pokemon and then posted it to Game Freak and they decided to make it a real Pokemon as part of some sort of charity or something. My point is, it just doesn't feel Pokemon-ish, and I never really cared for clowns anyway. Not scared of them, I just don't find them that funny. Oh yeah, one last thing. Have you heard that the next games after Sun and Moon puts Mr. Mime as the only starter? Yeah, think about it while we move on. Number 6. I got to admit that I never really cared for Froggy. Angrynator didn't help me either. Seriously, that pink thing, its tongue. Ew. Lickitung Angrynator, match made in heaven. But nah, never really liked the design. I felt like it was a cheap knockoff of Politoed. But that's just my opinion, what do I know. Last thing I want to say, Blaziken should have had that spot in Smash Bros. Not you, Greninja. Fuck you. Just fuck you. Number 5. Got to be honest here, I kind of like the design for Oshawott. It's cute in its own way, looks a little derp, but that never hurt anyone. But still, never really appealed too much to me either. I mean, it's not a terrible design at all, just mediocre and kind of bland, I guess. And is it just me, or should we make Poplio evolve into Samurott? I mean, doesn't that look legit? Like Magikarp and Dragonite? Number 4. I think it's safe to say that the Turtle Squad phase have, well, phased out by now. I liked Squirtle when it came out, mainly because of peer pressure from my school. But Squirtle is still a solid design. I mean, it's a turtle who uses water for attack. Turtles. Never mind. I like the design a lot, just not enough to make it further in the list. By the way, when Ash and Squirtle left the Squirtle Squad, what did happen to the rest? Nah. Would be cool though. Number 3. Hold on to your limited edition prize caps, folks. It's time for Totodile to march in on the scene. I just love the idea of a reptilian water type Pokemon, and Totodile is the right mix between cute and cool to make it to the top 3 spot in my opinion. For once, it's nice to see a starter that is carnivore for a change, and I mean, come on, remember Ash's Totodile? Yeah, I just love watching that dial in action. Number 2. Do you like Mudkip? I heard you like Mudkip. Never quite understood this, but nevertheless, I really like Mudkip. Had it not been for Torchic, then Mudkip would have been my favorite starter Pokemon of all time. It's simply adorable and a little derpy, but in a good way this time. I mean, those fins or gills, that big funny shaped head, that teeny tiny cute body it has, and just the name, it's simply amazing. Okay, let's cool off a bit with Mudkip's muddy water. Or not, let's just move on to number 1. You might already have guessed which one is my favorite by now, and you're right, it's Piplup. I just love penguins and have always done so. As a little kid, when my parents took me to the local zoo, I instantly ran towards the penguin exhibit, followed by the reptile cave, but leave that for now. Remember, this was doing Gen 1 and 2, and I wanted nothing more in a penguin Pokemon at the time, and finally, when I was about 15-16 years old, Diamond and Pearl came out, and there it was. My childhood dream. a penguin Pokemon. That was the only thing I felt should be added was an ice type instead of steel or the main water, but nevertheless I love this design and will always do. So that was the final episode of my top 7 Listomathon. I hope that you agree to some of these. If not, feel free to write in the comments your top 7 water type starter Pokemon, or maybe just something you want me to look into. Suggestions are highly appreciated. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the future.